So we're going to look at a variation of this pattern here. And what's involved in this pattern is that there's an 8-pointed star and then there's a couple of circles around with a couple of designs. So that's what we're going to do today. So first thing we're going to do is just draw a line going halfway across our paper. And then we're going to draw a circle. And the size of the circle depends on the size of your paper, but I'm just going to mark the center here. But for like a computer paper 8.5 by 11, this radius is about 5 centimeters. That's what I'm going to use today. So a 5 centimeter radius, and then I'm going to draw my first circle. And then I'm going to draw a partial circle on either side of it. Now you could draw the full partial, but I really only need this area here. So I'm just going to draw this area here like that. And then on the right and the left, and you draw an arc above and below. And I'm just going to switch to a marker so it's more visible. So just bear with me here. All right, so now we have a circle, and then we've drawn an arc. We've kept the radius the same when drawing the arc, and now we want to draw the vertical line that cuts the line that we drew. So we're going to place a compass. It could be the same radius, it doesn't matter, at the point where the arc and the circle intersect, above and below. And we need that arc to cross. So this is just for construction purposes. And then that gives us a perfect bisector. So then we're just going to connect the center with where those arcs connected, just like that. Okay. And now we're going to place the point of the compass where that vertical line and the circle intersect. And we're just going to complete on either side this shape. And again, we could draw the full arc just like that, but we don't need it. We just need this area here. And then just like that. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to draw our star. By drawing the diagonals. And then the star is comprised of a dynamic and static square. So the dynamic square is like the diamond, gives the idea of movement. So we're just going to draw that by connecting the top with the right and left sides and the bottom. And then likewise, the static square is connecting the point where the diagonals intersect the circle. And if we want to get a thickness to our square here. So we need to double the line. So we draw another circle inside the first circle, and it can be any size that we want, that will just affect the thickness, or the width of the double line. So I'm just going to go maybe like a centimeter and a half less than my initial circle of 5. And then everywhere where my circle and my lines intersect, just like before, I'm going to draw the exact same thing. So it's like 1, 2, 3, and 4 for the dynamic square. And then likewise for the static square, it's where the circle and the diagonals intersect. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now we have the 8-pointed star, and we want to only keep like the outline of this star. So what I'm going to do is I'll come back when I have just the outline drawn. What you would do is you're working in pencil presumably, so you would be able to kind of lightly erase like some of this stuff that we don't need, just because we're going to be drawing like a circle around it. So we kind of want to keep it a little bit neat if possible. Obviously I have mine in marker, so I can't erase this stuff, but you would just lightly erase this and you would keep the star. Okay, so now I've kept only just the start, and I've kind of gotten rid of the other stuff, and you would normally just erase a little bit or just, work light in the first place. And now we're ready to just outline our star. So we can keep that first circle we drew, like no problem. you don't have to erase it, but I'm going to just make my circle a little bit bigger just to give myself a little bit more room, but the first circle you drew is completely fine. So I'm going to do a double line. And now this is aesthetic. So I got this design off of a plate, to be honest. So this is just our own aesthetics now. But I do a double line and then I'll do another circle with a double line. And then we start to decorate a little bit. So what I'm going to do is at each point of the star, I'll just draw this like sort of a tepelic shape, but you can do any shape that you want. And then in between, I'll do like this little like flower shape. So to guide myself so that I know where to place those shapes, you can kind of take the ruler and you can place it through the center, through the tips of the star, the points of the star. And then you can just draw yourself a faint line, and that just helps you know where you're going. So you can just do that everywhere, and it can kind of just guide you. Okay, we already have that one. And then you would just draw the shape that you want. So if I was, doing this for, myself and I wanted it to be very pretty, I would probably take quite a bit of time on it. And I would, once I'm happy with it, I would actually only draw half of the star. If I wanted to be very accurate, I would draw half of it, and then I would take a piece of like parchment paper, tracing paper, and then I would trace the other half. So I wouldn't even draw the whole thing, but this part is really up to you, and it's like the hand touch is very beautiful as well. But you can kind of just play with it when you're happy with it. Play around with it, let's say. And then take this, trace it, and then place the same piece everywhere. Okay, I'm just going to draw one. And then in between, you can just draw like a little flower type. This is up to you now. A little dot, you can connect them with a dot, a big dot. This is up to you. Okay, so that's for the design part. And when you're happy with it, you can do it dark with your pencil or color it in. And then inside this star, what I would like to do is just draw, again, I would take my time, I would only draw half, I would use the tracing paper to help me with my accuracy, and then I would draw 4 of these shapes here. Okay, when you're happy with it, then you would draw the line hard. Right now I'm just like sketching. Okay, and then I would take my tracing paper, trace the shape, and then draw it in each of the 4 corners. So the top, the right, the left, the below, and then the left. And then in between, you could even connect them with a vine if you wanted, like, you could have a vine connecting them. Just like that. Okay, this is up to you. You could even put like a dot just to make it beautiful, embellish. And then in between here, again, you could use this shape to draw like a motif, a decoration. So I'll do something like this. And then again, I would take the shape once I'm happy with it, and then on tracing paper. I mean, you can do it by hand for sure, like multiple times, but it's just like you get a little bit more accuracy if you use the tracing paper. You could even use like kitchen paper or parchment paper, or whatever you want. Okay, and then once you repeat it, then you can outline it with your pen, and then you can color it in, and then you get your final shape.